When newcomers arrive in Canada for the first time, there is always the same big question in their minds. What is Canada really like? Of course, they probably have some statistics about the country, and they will have seen some pictures of its great cities. Its scenic beauties and many of the activities of its people are perhaps familiar through films, paintings, and photographs. But this fragmentary information does not answer the real personal questions. How shall I fit into all this? How shall I get along with Canadians? What are my chances of finding a job soon? Such questions loom especially large to the woman who is coming to Canada on her own. For her, one of her first contacts in this new land will probably be an official of the Department of Citizenship and Immigration. The friendly interviewer may herself be a new Canadian who has in a few years become an integral part of her adopted country. She will help to answer those questions. The number of women workers in Canada and the variety of their occupations has shown a dramatic increase in recent years. Today, the largest field of employment for women is in business offices. Mrs. Ailsa Kai is in charge of a typing pool at the Canadian head office of the Prudential Assurance Company. In pleasant surroundings, 10 dictaphone operators handle much of the correspondence. Mrs. Kai is especially helpful to all new girls because she herself arrived in Canada only 3 years ago. Her home was in Whitley Bay, Northumberland, and she was a secretary for several years before leaving England. A single company may have several hundred women on its clerical staff. The Sun Life Assurance Company of Canada often employs over 1,000 women at its head office alone. Many of these girls have come from various parts of the world to make a new career in Canada. For instance, Miss Monica Haas arrived last year from Wels in Austria. Learning English in school there and her experience as a typist in her father's law office were of great value in getting established quickly in Canada. Canadian clerical operations rely more and more on mechanical and electronic equipment. Mrs. Mitz Janssen operates a key punch machine. She transcribes onto cards the vital statistics of policyholders. Her own, would state, came from Maastricht, Holland in 1954, learned English in high school, also speaks Dutch, German, French, employed by Sun Life since arrival. After working hours, 10 bowling alleys are among the many popular recreational facilities the company provides for its employees. Both Mrs. Janssen and Miss Haas have made many good friends there. Canadian banking is another example of the ever-widening field of opportunity for business women. At many banks in cities and towns across the country, there are to be found women employees who have come to Canada within the last few years. Mrs. Margaret Fekete operates a bookkeeping machine. She used to be a government bookkeeper in a native Vienna before she came to Canada 5 years ago. Near her is Miss Randi Jacobsen from Sandefjord in Norway, the largest whaling port in the world. She arrived in Canada in 1956 and first worked in Ottawa, the national capital. Then she joined the clerical staff of the Bank of Montreal. And over at one of the teller's wickets is Mrs. Edith Bonhorst, a former teletype operator from Bielefeld in Germany. She came to Canada 2 years ago, and 3 days after her arrival, she was on the staff of the Bank of Montreal, where she has worked ever since. The various types of personal services also offer excellent opportunities for women in Canada. In the restaurant business, a good example is Desjardins of Montreal. Desjardins is internationally famous for its seafoods and for the bibs that protect its guests who order lobster in the shell. Among the staff of 75 is Marie van Oer, who came from Holland by way of Switzerland and England. Her fluency in 6 languages is highly valued by the management and the clientele. At the switchboard, Irene Marine takes the guests' reservations. She's a native Parisian and learned to speak English there before she came to Canada in 1955. Here she met Helmut Teveson, and they were married. But like so many women, she has kept her job. And at the door to wish the guests good night is cashier Nella Vincini from Milan, who went to England to learn English and the restaurant business, and then came to Canada in 1955. She has been with Desjardins ever since. Beauty salons offer many interesting possibilities in the personal services. The owner of one of them, Mr. Knops, calls his staff his League of Nations. To illustrate his point, there's hairdresser Gabrielle Fournier, who hails from Geneva. Her interesting hairstylings seem to mirror all her clients' fondest hopes. She arrived in Canada 2 years ago and has been with Mr. Knops ever since. Some women are born to salesmanship. For them, there is the vast field of merchandising, ranging from small specialty shops to great departmental stores. Although some stay open 1 or more evenings a week, staggered hours for the staff usually give the individual a 5-day week. The field of selling offers great opportunity for advancement. Miss Huguette Rankin came from Belgium 5 years ago and joined Henry Morgan and Company. Already she has been promoted to departmental assistant. An important factor in her progress was her fluency in English and French, as well as Flemish. Most spectacular development in merchandising techniques is the self-serve supermarket. The pre-wrapping of food, usually in transparent cellophane or polythene, extends to everything including meat, fruit, and vegetables. And that calls for more staff backstage than on the selling floor. Mrs. Elma Bowers came from Berlin. Although she has been in Canada only 3 years, she already thinks of it as home. Perhaps that's because she met Fred Bowers here and married him. Pre-wrapped fresh meat is displayed with the weight and price of the package clearly marked. Whether it be steaks or chops or roasts, all are prepared in advance under ideal working conditions. When Edith Bichel arrived in Canada 3 years ago from Kiel, Germany, she joined Steinberg's in the meat wrapping section. Recently, she was promoted to the position of cashier. Cashiers must have great ability to concentrate, accuracy, and a pleasant manner with customers. Lily Peck is a good example. She's an English girl from London. Every year, throughout the supermarket chain, customers are asked to vote for the cashier who has served them best. Lily Peck is justly proud of having been chosen recently as Cashier of the Year. In communications work in a bilingual country like Canada, fluency in English and French is essential in many positions. The Bell Telephone Company has girls from many countries on its staff. Mrs. Simone Froment, who comes from Lyon, spoke both French and English before leaving France 3 years ago. Near her on the toll board is another French girl, Mademoiselle Caroline Kelch from Paris, who is equally at home in either language. A vital public service such as the telephone network is continually improving and expanding to serve the needs of a growing nation. So the company's drafting departments play an important role in capturing ideas on paper. Mrs. Amparo Scura is a native of Spain. She went to school in Valencia and afterwards spent 4 years in drafting before coming here. Her husband is with Canada's National Harbors Board. When a new subscriber orders a telephone, the assigners notify the various departments involved. Miss Valerie Bowen is an English girl who used to work in a Piccadilly beauty salon. She came to Canada last year and decided to learn the telephone business. Mrs. Marguerite Fox arrived here 4 years ago. Born in Paris, she was educated in England and obtained a Cambridge teacher certificate. She speaks English, French, and Danish fluently. Mrs. Fox was recently married. The company, typical of many Canadian businesses, believes that the efficiency of its employees is closely related to their welfare. That principle starts in the comfortable employment office. In all walks of life, newcomers have become part of the fabric of our nation. Women from many lands have found happiness and success in their new home. Canadians are happy to welcome them.